Hello, welcome to today's immigration tidbit. So you received an H-1B or an R-1, or you got your green card based on employment or family-based green card. What about your family? What about your parents, your uncles, your aunts? Are they all going to be able to come with you? And the answer is some might, some will, but most won't. So, what are the derivatives or the dependents that you can bring with you to get either the green card or the dependent H4 status or whatever visa you happen to be on? And not every visa has dependent status. Like, for example, if you got a B2, your kids and or spouse do not get a derivative B2. Everybody has to qualify individually. However, if dependents qualify, then that means that a spouse and unmarried children under 21. So if they're 19 and married, they're not a dependent. Okay, so it has to be under 21 and single. And if it turns out that, for example, on a student visa, you're going on F1, so the kids and spouse get F2s. If it turns out that they're going to turn 21, by operation of law, their status will automatically terminate if you haven't taken care of it before they turn 21. So make sure that it's done properly so they don't find themselves illegally here out of status. Okay? So the dependents for 95% of all cases that have dependents are, again, the spouse and children unmarried under 21. It is not a partner. It is not a partner which by law, by state law, might mean that, they're entitled to various things. It is not a partner as defined in foreign law, such as Canadian law or wherever. It has to be spouse. Okay, not something that substitutes for spouse in another jurisdiction or something that is recognized in family law on another jurisdiction. It's not that it's making any political statement. It just means that dependent must be a spouse. Okay, and a spouse, of course, is defined as legal marriage. So that's that. As far as other types of dependents, there are exceptions, very few, but for example, if you're getting a U visa, under certain circumstances, a sibling can actually come along and or parents can come along. So in some situations, the dependent list is quite large. But the gist of it is that spouse and or kids can come along, and for them to get their interviews, it's yeah, much easier than, of course, getting the main one, which is what you got. Now, that doesn't mean that if someone's inadmissible just because they're a dependent or derivative, that they can automatically come in. For example, if you have an E2, okay, or let's say you have an L1. Let's say you have an L1 and your spouse wants an L2, and they find out that your spouse committed a theft crime 4 years ago. Depending on the sentence, your spouse may not qualify for a dependent or derivative visa and may have to, in fact, apply for a waiver, even though you don't, and even though your kids don't. Okay, so it does depend on the situation. Okay.